Hi everyone, I'm Lynn from Cavy Central, and today I'd like to speak with you about mites. Mites are a common occurrence on guinea pigs, and it's really important if you know what to do, how to recognise them, and what causes the typical problems where we see them here in rescue. So let's take a look. This is Snowy, by the way, our guinea pig, and he is perfectly happy and healthy, so he's just joining me for a bit of company. Firstly, mites are called a number of different things. People refer to them as fur mites, as sarcoptic mange mites, but effectively they are all mites. They are in fact different types of mites, but when it comes to treatment, the treatments are the same and it will eradicate all of them. So you don't need to know specifically which mite it is, you just need to know that your guinea pig has a likely mite problem. Mites are microscopic. So what that means is that you can't see them with the naked eye. So if you're seeing something moving on your guinea pig or you're able to visually see it, it's not a mite. People often take their guinea pigs to a vet in the first instance, and the vets will perform what's called a skin scraping. I have to tell you up front that in the majority of instances this comes back as negative, and the reason is that the mites in the location they've taken the test may not be present. So they may be in other locations on the animal. Because we can't see them, because they're not something we can see with the naked eye, in all likelihood the area that's been tested simply didn't have them. Mites cause an ectoparasitic infestation. Now what that means is that they are external to the guinea pig or to the host animal. They actually live on the outside of the animal. There are some mites that have a burrowing ability, but we still class them as mites that effectively live on and around the host. With the ectoparasitic infestations, they can be really aggressive in one location as opposed to another. So you may find that hair loss is in different locations on your pet. Mites can also live on our hosts in a symbiotic relationship. So it's actually possible that your guinea pig does have mites and they're not bothering your pet. So in the small numbers that they're in a normal environment where everything is kept clean and well and they have a great diet, then it's quite possible that they can actually exist in small numbers. So they're not going to be a bother to the animal. However, it's when those numbers get out of control that it becomes a real issue. The first signs that your guinea pig might be affected by mites could be that they're scratching and itching. It could be that they're starting to lose hair. And in this way, we can then check to see if mites are present. Typically within a group of guinea pigs, we can find that one is more affected by mites than others. And if you've noticed this and you've wondered why, it's typically in relation to their immunity or a problem that that animal has within the herd. So it might be that it is at the bottom of the pecking order and it is displaced from all nutritional food. It might be that the animal is stressed. It might be that it has an injury that it's recovering from, or that its immunity in some way is down and depleted. And this means that mites can very easily take hold on that animal more so than the rest of the group. Over time though, and it is just a matter of time, the others will also be affected by them. So you need to treat not only the one that you notice has been more affected, but all of them. A lot of people will comment that they should separate that animal immediately. The answer is no, because that can cause further stress, unless of course there's a herd issue that might be the reason why they're not coping as well. But typically you should keep your animal with their friends and treat all of them so that you cover the progress of mites, however far that is. Mites can also become a problem with guinea pigs if the environment is not kept dry and clean. And this is more often than not the cause of mite infestation. So mites really love damp, wet conditions, and of course cages that aren't cleaned. Guinea pigs then can become very vulnerable. Their immunity goes down and they're very stressed in those living situations. I've mentioned that there are different types of mites. Well, they all affect guinea pigs in a slightly different way. So some mites may cause irritation where hair is then lost. Other mites, through burrowing deeper into skin tissue to lay eggs, cause hair loss as well, but typically cause a scaliness, a hardness of the skin to occur. In guinea pigs, this is commonly found around the face and the chin, so this area on Snowy, and up around the face, neck, and under the chin, and also down between the joints, so the thigh areas. And that's a sarcoptic mange mite. So there are different mites, but we don't need to worry about the specific one. We simply need to treat. So the treatment is the same for all mites. Symptoms that we would look for include hair loss, itching, pain, skin that could be crusty and thickened, red, even oily, in fact. A loss of weight, so when they are really affected, they start to stop eating and interacting in a normal way. So low energy, being isolated, and of course others tend to make them go away because they know they've got a problem. And ultimately they can have seizures and it can lead to death. So mites are very serious and they need to be treated very quickly and early. There are no specific drugs formulated for the treatment of mites in guinea pigs. However, what we use are classed as off-label products that we know to be effective for this. And there are two really common ones that you will hear of. The first one is ivermectin and the second one is Revolution. Depending on which country you are in will determine whether you can access these or not, and how easily or not. So your first port of call is your vet, because the vet has access to the products in your area and can quickly administer them to get on top of the problem. But let's look more closely at each of them. So firstly, ivermectin actually comes from what we would class as a sheep dip or a cattle drench. So it's diluted to the point where we can use it with guinea pigs. If it's blue in color, it tends to be the cattle drench. If it's clear, it comes from the sheep. With ivermectin, there are three different ways that you can use it. The first is that it can be applied topically and absorbed into the skin. The second method is that we can give it orally, which we do based on the weight of the animal. And the third method is that the vet can give by injection. With ivermectin, you need to repeat the treatment about a week later to ensure that all mites are eradicated, and we're thinking there specifically of the egg cycle being in and around or under 7 days. With Revolution, this product is designed for cats and dogs. However, we can use this for guinea pigs to treat mites. The one that we recommend is for puppies and kittens because it comes in a small tube, and one tube can be used easily between 2 guinea pigs. When we start looking at the other types of Revolution, we can use them, but there's other ways we need to measure it and be careful, because you can, of course, overdose your guinea pig. We don't want to do that. So we always recommend the smaller puppies and kittens Revolution. Sulfur treatments have been used on guinea pigs for hundreds of years, so a very long time, and in fact on people, to eradicate mites. The problem with sulfur treatments is they stink really long. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend them at all. And the other aspect is that guinea pigs who lick and clean themselves can of course eat some of this, and without knowing the ratios it could be quite a problem. So we don't recommend them. But you will have a handful of people who will say use this powder or use this sulfur-based item, and they know it to work. So be careful with that one, but just know that it does exist. Making sure that you're using products that are acceptable and won't harm your guinea pig is paramount. So there's no room for experimentation here, which is why a vet in your area will know what products are able to be used. With any mite issue, it's really important to get on top of it very quickly before it becomes a larger problem. When we have mite-infested animals coming to rescue that are really severe, We also need to look at their pain management. So another reason for going to a vet is to ensure that you are able to stay on top of that, as well as any other secondary problems that could be bacterial infections right through to fungal. So there's typically more than one issue that you're dealing with severely affected animals. With the products that are available in the marketplace, you can treat your animal when you see the first signs of mites occurring, which will of course eradicate them and stop the problem until the next occurrence, which may or may not happen for some time. You can also treat preventatively. So there are people that I know will actually regularly give them their animals either ivermectin or revolution in order to protect them from any mite involvement. So this is a choice that's left for you. I would ask you to consider that there are chemicals that you're using with your guinea pigs, so that may weigh into it. And then of course, depending on which choice of product you would use, that you have the right one and you know how to actually apply that. If you have any questions, please jot them down below. We do a great deal of work with guinea pigs that come in a terrible way here at Cavy Central, and we appreciate your support no end. And I hope that you've found this information informative in order to keep your pets happy and well. Cheerio for now. Bye everyone.